Next we have Dr. Srikanta Patnaik from Soa University in India. He is the editor-in-chief for the International Journal of Information and Communication Technology, International Journal of Computational Vision and Robotics, and many more books and journals. He will talk about Indian video game industry, adopting moral and social values from cultural heritage. Please welcome him with a warm applause.
Very good afternoon, all of you. After Dr. David talks about serious games, I'll continue with the same fact. Of course, India is known as one of the oldest country, conservative, serious with their heritage, culture, thinking, and outlook. So this is all about the Indian heritage, and the lesson is there. If we compare, we ourselves picturize as we are the thinker, and our counterpart Chinese are the more, say, they are the actioner, or they take action. So if we combine this Chinese and Indian, then they can do miracle. That is the say in our country. So this is all about our heritage and how we are contributing to the gaming society. So during 90s there was nothing in India when Dr. David was starting the serious games. And by now we are the 5th largest country in producing the games. So my talk flow will be like this. Science behind the bedtime story, telling and traditional Indian society, then cultural heritage in Indian games, then video game industry, it is available everywhere, and Panchatantra, Pancha means 5 in India, and Tantra means the lesson. So how the 5 lessons are given to the ancient princess or prince during that time by the then teacher, and it is all about the related animal fable, and after that I'll conclude. So this is all the narration. I'll skip only the Indian part because everything is there in the proceeding. It is the science behind the bedtime story. If you look at, it gives you a lesson to the next generation from the parents or the grandparents. Usually in English, once upon a time, it is you translate into your language. The same thing happens in all countries. So it is the stories are being repeated, so generation after generation. The same thing is being imparted by the grandparents and the parents. But why the serious games is necessary now? Because the grandparents has been said nothing. In Indian society also we are becoming nuclear family, and the grandparents are not staying with the grandchildren, and the parents obviously they are not giving time to their children. So this bedtime story is vanishing from the day-to-day society, and therefore the serious games is necessary. So it is a narration, the same thing. Before going to the sleep, we will tell the story. It is an imagination. It is not that you are giving something serious, but in the picturization of an animal, in the picturization of many absurd thinking, you are built up the thinking ability of the children. So here the Professor G. Red Leon, the Chief of Child Development and Behavior of National Institute for Child Health and Human Development in Bethesda, reported that natural research shows that when parents and caregivers interacted verbally with the children, which includes reading to them, kids learn a great deal more than we thought possible. So therefore, it is time to rethink the storytelling again. And now it is impossible to impart storytelling from the grandparents. So therefore, the serious games is there. So what are the benefits of this storytelling during the bedtime? The language mastery, because the grandparents will repeat the same story again and again, and the small child learning the words. Second, they reduce the stress. So whenever the child is in stress and listening how an animal surpasses the misery, so obviously he will get motivated that I can also do that. Improve the language and communication skill, because the grandparents, they talk a lot, and it is also advisable that the senior people should talk a lot. And because our generation or the young or the middle-aged people, they speak less, but the old people, they speak more. And whenever a child is interacting with the grandparents, he will be learning the communication skill. But as we are all busy, and whenever our child is asking something to us, after answering for once or twice, we are telling, I have already told you, you should remember that. But as a child, he should be listening the same thing again and again, and that is possible through games. Then the logic. So the logic I am going to deliver it here. The story in Indian language and Indian, mythology, there are many stories are there. These are all logical. You must have heard our mythological story, Ramayana. How many of you know about that? No? Okay. It is an epic. One intelligent fellow was fighting with another fellow having 10 heads. 10 heads. It is not actually the 10 heads, but those imaginary. These are the games. But if you tell in India that that was a game, then people will buy they will trust you, because it is mythology. It is related to the god. And develop a love of reading. So whenever your grandparents are telling many things, the child will develop a loving for the reading. So these are the things behind the bedtime story. So how these games are coming into picture, now this is missing. So whenever this is missing, how will impart to the grandchildren? So this is through the storytelling or gamification. Now in India, in Indian traditional society, comprised of the joint family, because grandparents, parents and their sisters, brothers, at least, so 15 to 20 members are there. So by virtue of that, the young children, they are learning communication skills, they are developing how to mix up with they are also developing the leadership skill. But if a child will be, groomed isolated in a nuclear family, he will be missing many things. And that will give trouble after that. And whenever you are exposed to Facebook, you are exposed to, many other things, YouTube, and the child may learn many things absurd from these social media channels. So how to do that? How to control that? The one way is like the Chinese do. They debar everything. There is no YouTube, no Facebook, nothing. They have their own Baidu. Whatever their apex body will decide, they will pass on to the general public. But India is a society, open society. So everything we have YouTube, we have Facebook, everything we have. So how to control our social media and other things? It is difficult to control that. So, and this is where we are going. We are now in a modern era. Everything is there. Facebook is there. So the solution is the mythological story and our animal fable. So we have in India, if we look at the gamification industry, there are basically the two trends are there. One is mainstream blockbuster, where the developing nation or the developed nation, USA, Japan, Korea, European, they are developing the games. And on the other hand, in India and the small countries, we have indie games or independent thinking and independent game development, which are small, but it is theme-based. So we are following to the second category, where our own stories, own mythological stories are being developed. Now, in technology side, you can have AI, IoT, blockchain, high-end sensors, augmented reality, and metaverse is coming to the games. One of the speaker is also delivering talk on the metaverse after this session. So these are the challenges before the Indian gaming industry. So one side there is, as a high-tech industry is moving. Other side, we have to retain our culture. We have to retain our say tradition. So it is difficult to keep a balance between these two. Everyone must be knowing that PUBG game, there are so many, say, suicidal cases due to PUBG. In India last year, there are more than 10-12 cases are there. The students in the age group of 15 to 20, they played this game and they have consumed all money from their parents' account. It is a dangerous game. And the other game is Blue Whale. Blue Whale is also a game 2 years or 3 years before. There are so many suicidal cases. So at one end, we are talking about your open society and we are unable to control. So there was a serious thinking that the ethical, social and legal games, which are logical, must be allowed. And now government has banned PUBG and Blue Whale in India. And now the Indian game industry is seriously say contemplating so to do educational and ethical games. And also the COVID-19 has in between the last 2 years, it has compelled everyone to say to think differently, to interact virtually, to interact and so impart education also virtually. So due to the educational game market is also increasing. In India now, if we look at these traditional Indian games, they are now utilizing the Indian dance. So previously, you must be knowing there are so many varieties of Indian dance. We have Odissi, we have Bharatnatyam, we have many other forms of dance. And it is being performed throughout the globe. But the gurus are not there. So if you have to learn the Bharatnatyam, you have to go to the South India. So which is, from my place, it is 2,000 kilometers away. And it is not possible. You have to stay in a Gurukul or with the private tuitioning center of the teacher and you have to learn. So now the gaming industry is now learning all the poses, all the steps of a dance guru, and they are now developing these games. And similarly, the other things are there. These are the statistics. In 1990, Indian game market was nothing. Nothing was there. But by 2010, it has grabbed around 30% of the Indian gaming industry, and in 2012 to 2014, it has emerged as a major market. And the value was $780 million in 2019, and in 2022, it has grabbed 300 million gamer, and there is an increase of near about 41%. So this is the way the Indian game market is increasing, and in 2021, it is 7.4 billion mobile game download in Indian industry. So this is all about the statistics. Coming to the cultural heritage, in 2015, the new game of South Asian cultural setting set a huge wave in Indian game industry. It includes cultural heritage component, historical, religious references, and artistic feature in a broader sense, including music, dance, architecture, dress style, and more. So this industry is now involving many stories, mythological story, and developing. The first one is to Hanuman. Hanuman is a small boy who can fight different say tricks of say wrestling and other things. So that was more popular during that time. But it also lead to some violence. So the administrator has debarred some of the things which are not in mythology, but the game developing industry has input into it. So after that, they have cut certain things from the Hanuman game. After that, many other things has evolved, and now it is say Chota Bhim. There is a serial in TV, and other gaming culture has started. There is another interesting game is Antariksha Sanchar, which is based on the lesson from Ramanujan, Srinivas Ramanujan. He is one of the Indian mathematicians, and it was a speculative adventure inspired by the vibrant culture of South India, and it is on space. So it is say motivated by the mathematician Srinivas Ramanujan. In last game conference when I was delivering in 2014, it was I was delivering from games from another mathematician called Shakuntala Devi. How he can manipulate or how he can give the answer of 13-digit number, square root of say 2 to the power say 200 something. So he can within a very short span of time. So these are the things the Indian gaming industry is developing. Another thing is that it includes the dance repertoire of the Bharatanatyam dancer Jayalakshmi Ishwar. So now all the form of dance of Indian dance is now gamified and it is available. So anyone from any part of the globe may or can learn. Now, due to the virtual reality, augmented reality, and metaverse, this dancing has become a reality in India. These are the other gaming story. I was talking about that our mythological story Ramayana. It was a fighting between a humble gentleman Ram with a intelligent, 10 times intelligent, with 10 heads. It is not actual, but during the storybook it is written like that, and now it is being say depicted. So the Indian gaming industry are now developing Asura, Yodha, Raji, and many more. Kurukshetra is another epic story called Mahabharata. So it is depicted in Kurukshetra. So these are the Indian many small stories like Chota Bhim, Boy Warrior, Little Krishna. Krishna is another hero of Indian continent. The ISKCON symbolizes the lesson from Krishna, and now it is being gamified. This is Panchatantra. Pancha means 5 and Tantra means the lesson. So it is developed by Pandit Vishnu Sharma for giving lesson to the prince, and now everything is being say gamified. So I am not taking time. The reporter has already informed. So these are the games already developed in Indian industry. So I am just these are the Mitra Veda means you should get rid of the bad friends. Mitra Lava means you should add more good friends. Kokila Kulanam, that means the crow and the owl, which is related to the war and peace. Then the other one is loss of gains, and last but not the least. So whenever you are gaining something, you have to lose. Don't worry about that. There is a lesson. And the last one is don't be always taking a hasty decision. So always wait for more advice and always wait for the more sensory inputs. So this is all about, all the stories are being gamified. Think before you act, it is one of the story. So everything has a storyline. I am not taking time, time is there, so thank you. So these are the publication outlet. I am editor-in-chief. So anyone interested to communicate your output to any of the journal, please let me know. In 2014, there was a delay in publication because the authors did not respond to the queries raised by the reviewer. So this time, I must request to all the authors present here, if there is any comment from the reviewer, please respond them within 15 days time or 1 week time, so that your publication will be in time. Thank you all.